We are going to wait for 2 more minutes. So everybody who's trying to join us can do so, and then we will begin. Right. So I'd like to welcome you to today's session organized by VODAN Africa. This will be the 19th installment of the Metadata for Machines workshop. My name is Charles Kahiro. I am the creative director at TravelWorks Africa. So for today's session, it'll be a short one, hopefully around 30 to 40 minutes. And it'll mainly be a demo on a few tools and a few, I guess, methods which have been on public demand or due to public demand. So we'll be having our technical director, Mariam Basajja, do some demos on how to fill data into the CRF forms, as well as a demo on the Fair Evaluator tool. As always during the presentation, let's just try and keep our mics muted to prevent background disruptions. And we can always put your questions in the chat box. However, we will have a short 5 to 10 minute Q&A session at the end. So as soon as Mariam finishes, we can go into the Q&A session, and then we can discuss. But in case you have any pressing questions, just type them in the chat box and I will try and bring them up during the presentation. But we'll try and keep things nice and tight. Yeah, I guess that's it. So with that, I will hand over to Mariam.
Hello, hi everyone.
Hi.
Today's, well, like Charles said, I'll just basically be doing a demonstration on how to use the CRF wizard, how to enter the data, and then I'll also show a demo on how to use the evaluator. The FAIR evaluator to predict the fairness of digital solutions. So I'll share my screen now. Second. Can you all see my screen? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yes, please.
All right, okay. So this is our CRF wizard platform for the part of the VODAN in the box. So you just, to create a CRF template, you just basically click here on CRFs and then create. So we'll use some mock data for this demonstration. So I'll put 7, 8, 9, 5 as the identifier. Select the template. It's all very straightforward. So yes, and then the ID, the patient ID is what you put on here, and then you go to the admission part. So facility name, I'll just put KU Teaching Hospital. Uganda. So the date of enrollment, You have to make sure you enter the right format of the date. So you start with the year and the month. And the day. So there's also these parts to fill, the clinical inclusion criteria, whether the person is proven a suspect, or proven or suspected infection. If that's a yes or a no, you just say yes. So, but if you don't have some of the information, you don't have to fill it all in. You just have to fill in what you have. And then I'll just say yes, yes, no, yes. So I'm just using mock data. It's not real. Female, yes. 24. The day. Health worker. This is asking whether the person who is infected is a health worker or no. So I'll say no. Yes. No. Medication. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. No. System anticoagulation. No. Yes. Hemoglobin. Done. Okay. No, I'm done. Done. Yes, so I think that can do for this demo. And then you can add any information in case the patient had any follow-ups. Just, yeah, the date of the follow-up, we can put 2020 6 13, and the temperature, right, severe dehydration, no. Okay, so that will do. And whether the person was, if you know whether the person was discharged or the person is dead, then you fill all that information in on here as well. and then you save. So you don't save at the introduction part, you save at the end of like filling in everything. So you save and then create a report, create, and yeah, it's been created now. So you can download it. You can download it from the CRF Wizard platform. You can choose to submit it, and you can also choose to delete it. Yep, and it's there. This is the one we just created. Oh, yes. So this is how you enter the data into the CRF Wizard. So now just go on to the next part. I'm going to show the evaluator. I don't know if not so many people have used it before, according to what I heard. Sorry. Oh, so I entered, wait, I'll just unshare my screen one more time so that I can log in. Just give me a minute.
There is a question from Getu on whether you can preview the form that you just created.
Oh yes. After creating, you cannot really preview it as such, but this is what you get to see from what you created. And also, if you want to, you can choose to export it or like download it, and then you'll be able to see what you just filled in. Does that answer your question?
Hello, Mariam.
Hey, Getsu.
Hi, how are you? Hi, everybody. So, when you create the CRF,
Yeah.
you can see the RDF or other scripts, but can we see the form itself, like Google Form and other?
Like the way you see it in the you wouldn't be able to see it the way you would with the
We can't see the form anymore. I think you have to reshare the screen.
oh, sorry. 1 second. Oh, I don't know why this is doing this. Sorry. Okay. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes,
yep,
yes.
now it's good.
Yes, yes.
So this is the report of the CRF we just created. So it only allows you to download it. you can't like preview the template, so you can just download it and then you're able to
How about the CRF itself? This is, I think, the report, yeah?
Yes, so this it's just here, and you can edit. So this is if you want to like re-enter to enter new information. So as you can see, this is the information we entered.
Yes.
Yes, so if you have additional information to put in, it allows you to re-edit, to edit
Yeah.
that you created. So either way, you get to see what you put in the template. So you can go back to it, edit it, and then create a new report.
I have one other question. So you are logged in as an administrator, yeah?
Yes, yes.
So how do the other users see this CRF?
I've not tried with other users, but different users are permitted to do different things, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
with the, wait, let me just show. So down here, this one doesn't let you create other users, but with the allele graph, okay, it's not running right now. The one for doing the queries, it lets other people that do not even have accounts on the platform to carry out queries, different queries, using the anonymous user. They don't need to log in or anything. They'll just basically be able to do the queries without having to log in with a password, just the username, which is anonymous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mariam.
Yeah, okay, no problem. So where was I? I wanted to show how to use the evaluator. So this is the link to the evaluator. I'll just share it in the chat for everyone to be able to access it. So let's get started. Evaluate a resource. And then, so the purpose of this evaluator is to help you assess the fairness of digital resources. It's very straightforward. All you need is the identifier, the unique identifier or URI of the resource that you want to assess. So you can choose the findability, maturity indicators only, or accessibility, interoperability, or usability. So we'll go with the findability first, and then we can use our very own fair data points. Sorry. I just need to copy this link here. So as long as you have the URL link, so I'll call this you have to give it a title. So I'll call it the Uganda FTP. And then I'll put my ORCID. ID. And then you run the evaluation. So it's being processed. It's taking some time, but it's gonna come through. Okay, so 8 tests were run, and out of 8, 5 succeeded. So improving the fairness of a resource is continuous. It doesn't stop there. So, but this is very fair enough for now. This is the one of the findable, the unique identifier fair metric, and it passed. So it just basically shows you where it failed and how it passed. So I won't go into so much detail because, well, the technical people would most definitely understand this. But so you're able to measure and assess the fairness of a resource using the URL link or the unique identifier, the GUID. So, and you just basically do the same for the other tests, and you select findability, accessibility, and then it gives you the results. And when it shows more than at least more than half of the tests passed, then the resource is somewhat fair. Even if it's one test succeeded, it's still fair. So, but the degree of fairness can be improved every now and again. So, well, that's it. I plan to demonstrate today. I hope that was helpful. Sorry, I had to make it very brief because I have another engagement at 3 p.m. So, but I hope this was helpful to everyone.
Yeah, I believe it was. Actually, the fair sharing tool is a pretty interesting one. I don't know whether we have questions now for Q&A. If we do have any questions on how to fill the CRF form or any questions around it, and also around the fairness evaluator. I'm checking in the chat box. It doesn't seem we have any typed out. Maybe people can unmute their mics if they'd like to ask their questions directly.
Hey, Mariam.
Hey, Esther.
Question. You filled out, I just want to follow your train of thought. So I'm going to ask, you filled out the CRF form, wonderful. and then you evaluated the data of that particular CRF form. Is that what you did?
Oh, no. They're two separate things that I did.
Okay.
The completely separate things that I did. The evaluator, I just wanted to show how to use it, but I was not, and then I just used the fair data point link. I mean the fair data point URL link to do the demonstration, but with this demo, they're not connected at all.
Okay. So the data that you are evaluating is from the fair data point in Uganda?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
All right, then, thanks.
Yeah, I see a question on how, so once you run your fairness evaluation on that specific distribution for your data set, we saw that there were three.
Distribution. I didn't run. Oh, okay. Sorry. Just finish the question. Sorry.
Yeah. So since the link that you took was from the FDP in Uganda for that specific distribution, I believe, or for a data set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so once you did the evaluation, I guess, so what we saw are 5 successful tests and 3 that were rendered unsuccessful. So the question is, how exactly would you work on the 3 to render them successful?
So on here, it shows you the ones that have been successful and the ones that haven't. So you see the green. Oh, wait, let me share my screen one more time. So the green on here means this was among the successful tests, as you can see, yeah? So, and then this one was not successful. And then it tells you why it was not successful. So because we did not have a Perl URL, so this is why. So it shows you why a test failed, and then you can always get on that, and yeah, and then this was successful. It found a linked data style structured metadata. So it shows you what has been successful and why not successful. So it's it's quite easy to use.
All right, I see Bart would like to make a comment on the evaluator.
Yes, Charles, thanks very much. And Mariam, also thank you very much for showing this. Just to give you some general comments on the evaluator. What we did basically about a year and a half ago or so, we built an evaluator, but mainly for repositories, because they sometimes have already data sets in their environment. And they wanted to find out how fair are these data sets. So do they have an identifier? Do they have a license policy? Do they have a separation between the data and the metadata, et cetera, et cetera. So in close cooperation with a guy in Spain, a person called Mark Wilkinson, this evaluator was built, and then it was put on the system of fair sharing to host this. And this works very nicely, particularly when you are a repository and you're kind of doubtful about, you know, I have a lot of files, you know, what is the fairness of this? Then it is very useful. I'm not 100% sure if it's useful right now. First of all, if you want to do it, you want to test it, you would typically do it only once with your fair data point, and you can see, you know, how findable is it, how accessible is it. Take into account that the evaluator uses about, I think about 29 questions from the top of my head. and most of them are about F, A, and some about the I, and the R, the reusability is limited in terms of these questions. So here, of course, within VODAN, the situation is quite different because you already have an application, you have a CRF wizard, which already gives you a lot of fair data from the source. So testing this separately for the fairness is, to my opinion, not so necessary. And there was already a question about, do I have to do this every time when I have new patients or so? No, absolutely not. What you can do is, if you have, for instance, a separate fair data point, or if you have separate files coming from other sources, you may use the evaluator to test the fairness of this. But in combination with the CRF wizard, I think the value is relative, is actually limited. So that is a message that I wanted to convey to everybody. Despite that, it's a nice tool, and thank you for showing it. We've been using it in some of the projects, also in some of the European countries. As I said, mainly to test how far the different repositories are with their data sets. Long story, sorry about that. Is that clear? Did I make myself clear, or are there still any questions on this evaluator?
For me, I do have a question. So how exactly then would we test how fair the data that we are sharing on a data point is? So are we saying that a fair data point is inherently fair?
Yeah.
In terms of its architecture, so any data that we put on up there is fair, but how would we measure the degree of fairness for that fair data point?
There's always a certain fairness inside the system built in. So it doesn't matter what you put in, if a person has a fever, yes or not, if a person has a high temperature or a low one, will not affect the fairness. The fairness is implicitly built into the fair data point and into the CRF. It immediately translates all the data into the right format. It is, it is findable, it is accessible. The data is according to a standard community semantic model. So all these things have been built in. So there's absolutely no worry for you about the fairness. This is as fair as you can get at this moment.
Oh, all right. I don't know whether there are any additional questions.
Charles, this
Yes,
is Gato speaking. I have one question regarding to the CRF.
Yeah.
So as Mariam showed us, the CRF is supposed to accept individual patients' information, yeah? But I have really one thing bothering me since last week. So what if we have hundreds of patients or thousands of patients? So how are we going to record those information to the CRF at the same time?
I believe, yeah, sorry, just go ahead.
So
Go ahead,
sorry,
Mariam.
this is one demo. I think I have almost similar question with Gato. In a case, for example, if we do have a data in the different format, like in Excel or in other software, is that possible? Hello?
Hello. Okay, so let me just reiterate the question. So for Gato, the question
is that possible
around,
to import it?
For Gato, the question is around having multiple patients, and how do you record all their individual data onto the CRF wizard? For Wondemo is more of data in different formats where they've already logged in their data, and whether that can be imported into the CRF.
Well, unfortunate. Okay, well, for now, to use the CRF wizard, you have to enter the data like, well, one patient by one patient, so that you're able to input all the required details. I guess it's some work, but for now, that's what we can use. So you just basically have to enter the patient data one by one.
Yes, I can check also with the team who has done this. I have not seen a real import function yet. So, for instance, when you have a lot of data already typed into an Excel sheet or into another system, I've not seen an import function. But I can look at this and then come actually back to you. The way I've seen it is that, you know, you can input the data for multiple patients, absolutely no problem. But as Mariam said, you have to key them all in one by one. Or, you know, you may have different people keying, but every patient needs to be keyed in separately. There's no import function. There's no bulk function to catch a lot of patients at the same time from another system. I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, I would like to add something. The last time I think I forgot the name of the master's student graduated under the Professor Mariam.
Yeah.
She used the OpenRefine to create RDF, and there was a mechanism to import it to FDP. So can we use that approach here?
Well, you could use that, but then you would not be able to carry out the queries on that data, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, if I may come in here, I remember when we had the pre-installation session with, I think, CEST and Marek, this question also came up, and they actually affirmed that with the wizard, there is no option other than to have to manually enter the patient data one after the other. Possibly, like Beth is here, it may be something they will have to look into, the option of providing direct import from some other spreadsheets. But now, administratively, that is where we have the data stewards. The data stewards are not just to install the FDPs, but they're also expected to manually enter the patient's data into the FDPs. That's why for each country, we have more than one data steward, so it doesn't become so much of a burden to one person. So while we hope for an improvement in the data entry, we just have to make do with the single entry per patient for now.
Yeah. And of course, it was always the idea that at a certain stage, this FAIR data point will also be linked to maybe an internal system that you have where you already have a lot of patient data recorded so that you don't need to retype. This was actually also set up as a demonstration tool. It's possible to input patient data by hand, absolutely. But for bulk usage, if you have thousands of patients you want to record, then of course it makes a lot more sense to have a small interface between your in-house hospital system or your national patient system and the FAIR data point in terms of bulk update of patients. I will talk also with the team in the Czech Republic, in the Prague team, with what's his name, Marek. And his guys, and say, okay, if there anything that for us, you know, to actually speed up that process, is there any way to use some kind of import functions?
Yeah, and that one would be pretty cool actually, if because if the countries already have data that's already set up in the WHO format, then it would probably be a lot easier to create an import function. Based on
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
It would be different if, you know, countries collecting data using their own formats, then there really isn't any way to import, because there wouldn't be a standard. But if it follows a WHO one, it would be quite useful.
Yeah, and if it's a slightly different format, of course, you can use some kind of mapping. It requires a little bit of programming from a technical person, but let's assume that, for instance, in Kenya you have a nice national system with patient data who do not 100% match with the WHO format, but relatively close. Then what you can do is you can map these things from one structure to another structure, and then do the conversion from the national, let's say, format into the WHO format, something we call mapping. And what you see is that a typical technical person can actually take care of that and can do that. And that will make life a lot easier, of course. But then you don't have to retype. You can just take the input from another system. And that's where you get the efficiency also into the structure.
All right, I see. I guess it's a comment or question from Dr. Reginald. I think we'll make this one our final one, which is, thank you, Mariam. I liked your presentation. You helped me answer some of the 8 questions I had set out at the start of the M4Ms in March. But he has a question around how long does it take to fill the form itself from start to finish? And then how long does it, when you have, if he has 4 data stewards, how will they store data in one specific location?
Well, as during the demo you saw, I think it would take not more than 10 minutes for one data steward to enter data for one patient. So it wouldn't take more than 10, maybe 15 minutes tops. And we also that most of the questions are multiple choice. You don't really have to type anything. So it doesn't take very long. And how would they store the data in one location? Well, that's why we have the admin to create user accounts for the other users to be able to input data into the CRF wizard. So I hope that answers his question. Does that answer your question, Reginald?
Mariam, actually, it was just a comment, really, but you made it clearer. Thank you.
All right.
Also, I would guess that the updates may go even faster. So, you know, the first time you enter a patient, of course, it will take some time because you need to define, you know, who's the patient, what's his name, etc., etc. And then the updates would probably go even faster if you have small updates in terms of the temperature or, you know, something else, or their blood pressure, or, you know, some of their blood values. Then typically that's only 2 or 3 things that you have to input, click, and then you go into the next one. So the first time a little bit more, updates less time.
All right. I think with that, we can come to the end of the webinar. I think we can release Mariam.
Yes,
We have only 10 minutes left, so unless you can
sorry,
take off,
Charles,
hopefully we'll make it in time.
announcement before Mariam leaves. But Mariam, if you're pressed for time, you can leave. I can always catch up with you later after your classes. But I have just about like 2 minutes announcement, and it concerns you. Yes, yes. Just to also thank everyone. And so far we have a total of 6 fair data points, 1 in Uganda, 2 in Nigeria, 2 in Ethiopia, and 1 in Tunisia. We're working towards installing for Kenya and Zimbabwe in the coming weeks. And the Leiden University Medical Center, they announced the installation of the FDP yesterday. So now we're ready to run queries, the Euro-Africa connection, the transcontinent connection between the VODAN Africa FDPs and that of the Leiden University. So some members of the team from the 4 countries, Uganda, Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Tunisia, must have received invites to a meeting tomorrow with the Leiden University Medical Center team, so that we can plan towards what really needs to be done so we can make the intercontinental query possible. We're going to also be looking at the data set to query and of course, what are the representative query to look at. We also want to look at the next steps. We're going to assign tasks and then look at the reporting format. So it is very, very important among everyone else who has been invited for Mariam, Getu, Tigist, Mariam from Tunisia, Elijah from Nigeria, Sekinat from Nigeria, Ezekiel from Nigeria, and Obina will have to be available for the meeting. They must have received the invites from Eric F. from Leiden University Medical Center. If you haven't, please you let me know so that I can double check for you. The time for the meeting and everything is in there. I've also suggested to Eric to possibly invite the DSW team so that some of the concerns across the 2, VODAN Africa and then the Leiden University, can also be brought to their notice. So that's the announcement from me, really, but this is what we've been waiting for, to be able to run queries between the 2 continents, and now it's just about to happen. Yeah.
That is excellent. Can I ask you something? Can you possibly invite Marek? I think it would be good if he is there. He is from the Czech team. And can you invite me as well? So I can maybe be the interface or the linking pin if there is still something missing.
Yes, thank you, Beth. The invite was, the meeting was scheduled by Eric, and I'd replied to him asking him to invite you and Marek.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yes, so I should expect to send you an invite.
That's good. And when you talk about Eric, because we have multiple Erics.
That's the Eric F. I did long pronunciation, Eric Fickenscheid or something. From Leiden, the University Medical Center, yes, yes.
Absolutely, that's Eric Flickenschildt. That's
yes, our own Eric, yes, their own Eric.
Okay, Charles, do I have time for one more question?
Yeah, I believe so. We have released Mariam because she had another engagement, but the rest of us are still here. We still have 10 minutes on the clock.
Okay, that's good. I wanted to ask something to Mariam Gardalou, because the last week she had a very good presentation. And then I had another chat with her and found that there was some confusion over the CRF template and the knowledge module and a different template. And I know that she's been in contact with Marek and with some of the guys from the Czech team. And I just wanted to be absolutely sure that this issue was now clear and it was resolved. So if Mariam is still on the call, I think it would be good from her to hear if that has been resolved.
Oh, if I'm still on the call, you say me?
No,
The other Mariam.
The other
from
Mariam.
Tunisia.
Mariam. Yes, she's here.
The Mariam Gardalou. we have too many Mariams and Miriams in this team. What is happening?
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi, hello, Mariam. Yeah, I recognize your voice.
Hi.
Thank you, Bert, for the following, especially for our previous question. And we are looking now, we have understand that there are a difference between template and the knowledge model. And now we are just looking the references that was sent by Marek. And if we have any advancement or about this, we will keep you in touch.
That is good. And just mail him or Skype him or whatever, contact him if you need some help, because he is really the guy who should be able to you know, to give you the right answers. Good. Thank you. That's it, Charles. Another good session. We are moving ahead.
Yeah, I believe this one was very informative and gives us a different perspective when it comes to FAIR. Also different from the last few sessions. So yeah, I think we are continuing to build that pyramid slowly, stone by stone. So I don't know whether we have any comments from the other participants. I see the chat box is good. Yeah, I guess we can bring this show to an end. So I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time today to be here with us. We have tried our best to keep within the time, and this time we managed it. A recorded version of this webinar, as always, will be available on the VODAN Africa website and on the YouTube channel. So be sure to check those ones out if you miss part of it or you'd like to review some section of it. So be sure to check it out. Next week, we will be having, I guess, the 20th installment of the Metadata for Machines workshop. It's hard to believe it's been 20 weeks. But yeah, so we'll be having it next Tuesday. So the details on the topic and the timings will be shared by Ivy on the various comms channels. So be sure to be on the lookout for that one as well. So thank you again for joining us today, and we will see you next week.
Super, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.